Hey everyone, Big Z. Hope everyone's doing good. I haven't posted any content in about a week on any of the platforms, even though I shot a lot of video. I watched one this week by Eric DeBay, in fact, just the other day, and I wrote Eric and said, bro, this is one of the best and the best you put together in the last 10 years. And he wrote back, and man, I hope maybe one day him and I can do a live chat together. But anyway, I watched another video who had Billy Carson and Graham Hancock in it, which everyone's talking about the same content. Lolita Caroli on her channel's all over this. Keith over at the Rebellious Meat Puppet. Chiron Last on his channel. Dr. Armin Hillman on Lady Babylon with Neil from Gnostic Conformant the other night was knocked it out of the ballpark. We're all coming to the same conclusion. And so the topic of this video is, are we living in a carbon copy of ourselves, a clone of ourselves? Based in carbon? And I would say 100% yes. We're in a Westworld carbon-based copy of the world that we come from. Going into the original creation story, and let's just recap this real quick here. So the God of the Bible, this is what Eric hit this so well. In fact, you need to go watch his video. He hit this so well that we have in the Bible, we have this character named Yahweh or Jehovah, and he is not the creator. He is a sub-creator. He is known as Yaldabaoth or the Demiurge, which is the craftsman or architect or the builder of this realm, which is a carbon copy of our creation. There is a video I'm gonna post this thing. It's grainy. It's from Russia, but it's a Mason who he draws out a diagram of the sacred geometry of how this whole thing works and how we're almost like an upside down world. And I put in this upcoming video some clips from the movie Upside Down World, how we're in a reflection of ourselves. Westworld is a great example of where we are. So let's put it like this. I'm going to start with a Disney World analogy. Growing up here in Central Florida, I'm going to give my age away here. I actually watched Disney World being built. They built it over here in Orlando. I'm in Daytona. They were going to build Disney in Daytona, but the people who ran the town were idiots and didn't realize, what they were giving away. So long story short, they ended up over in Central Florida, and the CIA was involved in all that and so forth. And so they built Disney World over there. And if you watched how they did this, I'm going to try to encapsulate this thing, where we are, what we are, just kind of follow along here. When a developer, like anyone, we're all creators, by the way, all of us. We create art, we create music, we create all kinds of things. We create our own children. We are creators. We are the creator. We're creators. We're the aeons from above. We are the creators. So when you want to create something, you have a vision in your mind, you have a dream. And this is like Sophia. Sophia had a dream of Earth and this realm. This is how creation started for us. But this guy, Disney, he had a dream. So when a developer or someone, they dream this thing up, I want to build this world or this realm where people can go and have a great time and bring their children, whatever it is. And so he envisions this thing. He puts a plan together and does feasibility on it to see if it's possible. And if he decides he's going to go with the go-ahead, he sees if he can get some people to invest, some investors to come in and support his project for the funding he's going to need. And then the next thing he has to do is go find some land. And he finds some land, does all the demographic study on it, and finds it's great. Like Disney World, all the air traffic coming in, a state surrounded by water, and just everything worked. So he goes and he acquires this land. And then the next thing he does is draw his plans and I think how he's going to build it and so forth. I've done this many times before in projects. You go through your entitlement process, you get your approvals from the owner of the land. So you either purchase the land or you lease the land. Big component here. Because the land, this thing that they used, this Demiurge character, had to take Sophia's creation, her material, to work with. He can't create his own material. So he got this land either by lease or some swindle way he got this shit. Anyway, he doesn't own it. He's leasing it. I think that's super important here. Going back to Disney. Okay, so Disney gets his land. He knows what he wants to build. And the first thing you do is you clear the land out. And you determine if there's any trees on the land or any resources that you can sell. giant trees. Think about that for a moment. And think about the movie Avatar there. So the developer comes in and he gets the companies to come in and bid, and they come and clear all the trees out and they sell that stuff. Now what he does is he has to go and dig down. So he's going to build his infrastructure underground, his sewage and so forth. Now Disney doesn't want, when you come to Disney World, you're going to live in a fantasy while you're there. If it's just for the day or a week or however long you're going to stay there, you're living in a fantasy. So you want to forget where you originally came from. You know, you work 7 days a week. You don't want to be reminded of that. You want to come and just forget life and all of its cares and come enjoy this thing. So he puts everything underground. The whole mechanism of Disney World is underground. The trucks coming in, the garbage, the workers, all the cast members and all that. So they build the whole infrastructure underground. He brings the dirt back in on top of it, covers all this shit up, and then he builds his structures. And he built it to perfection, by the way. Everything in Disney World is perfection. You've been there, you've been to the gardens, everything is perfect. And then he has people who work there, but he doesn't want you when you're there to realize these people are workers. They're cast members. And I know this because, let me just drop this right now. My wife was Cinderella at Disney World. Beautiful voice, the long hair. She portrayed Cinderella. And we know that's where all the Monarch programming takes place. One day, I hope I can tell you the whole story. I really do. Hope I can do this. Anyway, so they don't want you to realize while you're there that you're in this fantasy world. These people are actually workers. They're cast members. Now, these cast members have been there, some now multiple generations of them. They run there. Their kids are working there. Some of them actually live on Disney World, but there's this old map. I want to interject this. It showed a map of Disney. It looked like the Flat Earth map, by the way. And at the top of the map was one of the biggest secrets that's ever been hidden from mankind. It said, it has a little boat, and it says, cast members boat ride to an island far away. Very interesting. So the cast members can live in that realm, but live kind of outside of it and come into it. Think about that in the world we live in right now. The cast members, the ones that are always here, the politician people, the movie people, the people who are running this world are cast members. They're actors. They're being paid to do all this shit here. So you have underground, you have the underground world, which runs everything, where we get the concept of as above, so below. It works both ways. And when I show you the sacred geometry of how the real sun is underground, it projects it up, hits the dome, bounces back down on the square and compass of the Masons and forms the sun and the moon. And it'll show you how they've put this dome over us and built this encapsulated world. It's like when you go to Disney World and you go to Epcot Center. They have little miniature versions of all these different countries. You can go and visit Japan and France and see the Eiffel Tower and all this stuff. But it's kind of an illusion. It's just, you know where I'm getting at. But you could go to Disney World and you could buy little property there and you could live there your entire life and not realize there's an entire world outside of Disney World. Are you kind of starting to get this? So here we are, we're higher realm beings, we're the aeons created by the creator of all. He is the monad in the heavens, the Greeks called the pleroma. His emanation, first emanation is Barbello. She's the mother of all of us. And they desire to have a child. The child is Christopher, which is Christophosphorus, and phosphorus in the Latin is Lucifer. So Christo Lucifer, which is the male and female aspect of the morning star, which the light bringer. It's the same person split. What they've done to separating us is so fucking Anyway, so we're from up there, right? And so this Demiurge character we know is a sub-created fucking freak of nature fucking thing, whatever it is. And he creates his aeons below us, and they look up and they see this whole fucking world up there. It's beautiful. And they realize, because you're fucking assholes and sickos, you can't go into that realm. And so what he decides to do is he makes a copy of it out of carbon, a carbon copy of the higher realm that we come from. And then he tricks us into coming into this realm and live here. and we get trapped. And so he builds a human host body, looks just like us, and they transmute us into us. So we're living a higher realm being living in this lower realm in a carbon-based copy of ourselves. Our heart's it's encaged in a rib cage. You cage something when you imprison it, 12 ribs on each side for the 24 hours a day. You know how everything works here, okay? So we find ourselves trapped in this realm, but when we got here, we didn't realize we got stuck here and we can't get the fuck out. Now those entities that wanted to live in that higher realm, they can't live there, so they can't experience what we experience, and they can't create like we do. So they create this hybrid man, the Mudman. They reach into the earth, take the material that Sophia made, the earth, and they create Mudman, but he doesn't really have life in him. And so the creator above looking down goes, okay, let's teach a lesson here. Sophia drops her essence into Mudman Adam. Adam rises up to teach him a lesson that he's actually more powerful than this Yahweh guy, the God that they got us all worshiping. And for a while, we do run the show. And that's when you'll see when there was an evil takeover about the 1800s with the mud floods and all that shit and all these cathedrals, the Cathars, so much. There's so much I got to get into here. Let me try to stay on track here. So we're in a carbon-based copy of ourselves, and we're living this experience out here. So in this entity, as it says in the old, what is called as creation is a superhuman angel demon. That's by definition what we are, a superhuman angel demon. And so it gives the ability for one of these archons to experience life living in us. It's along for the ride. We're the host, it's the parasite. Get it? Can't live in the realm above, but it can live in this one, and it lives through us. Now, we were tricked into coming here. I'll use this example. Let's say you go to a country like Denmark, and you're in Denmark, and or Amsterdam, where you can do all kinds of shit. Or let's say you're in Las Vegas. Like you go to Las Vegas, and you're going down the red light district, and you look by, and they got these little peep shows and strip clubs, and you're like, nah, I don't do that. I'm a married man. I'm happy. I'm good. Blah blah blah. And you go by a couple of them, and then one catches your eye, and in the windows, some fucking smoking hot babes like, come on in. Nobody wants me to dance. I want to dance for you, or whatever. You're like, ooh, well, you know what? No one's watching. I think I'll sneak in for a quickie. And you go into the club, and they do this thing, and they stamp your hand. It's free, and you sit down. They give you a free drink. They slip a Mickey in there, and all of a sudden, whoa, hey. And 3 hours later, you've had lap dances and you've fallen in love with her, and goddamn, I'm leaving my wife for you, baby. And you're trapped, like the Elvis song. I'm caught in a trap and I can't get out, Anyway, just one example of how we got tricked into coming here. A lot of people got tricked in the early 1800s when they had the reset. If you watch those old pictures, when they were showing on all those channels of the mud flood, or in the 1800s, early turn of the century, 1900s, 1899, right through there, where they're having those world's fairs. And all these people by the fucking millions are showing up, and they're all dressed in full suits with hats and umbrellas and gloves. No part of their body is exposed to sun, because I don't think they ever were exposed to the sun. This was some, they were fresh-made clone thing, people to transmute into, and they're here having this experience, and they're not used to the environment yet. That's what I see when I see that. But anyway, going back to Disney World. So you got this whole experience that we're experiencing here. We're trapped here. However we got here, we're here. And while we're here, asshole doesn't want to give you up. He wants you to be here, and he wants to have his people experience all this stuff. And so they start going from being this really nice, great place where it's all awesome and free energy and all this great stuff, and you can build and go have a homestead and have horses and this and make children, make little bitty clones and make more clones and make this. And you don't realize that he set you up. And after a couple generations, wiping memory and doing certain things, this world's being turned into the prison that it was originally meant to be. And we got a problem. And now we have a world where they don't need the human host body anymore, because this thing wears out with its telemeter caps at 120 years. and they need to then convince you to come back in the reincarnation loop, and it's kind of a cumbersome process for them. So if we could create Human 2.0 and digitize it and take your conscience and transmute that into a digitized version, you could have your conscience trapped here for eternity. You see, these things don't have the creative ability we do. We create art and music and all kinds of things, and buildings and technology and so forth. And so these entities right along with us, get to be rock stars and movie stars and sports stars and all this stuff. And so they have us build this whole realm, bring all the technology and knowledge and everything that we have, and they steal it from us, give us some fake money, buy us off, and now they control and run everything, and this whole thing's been turned into a prison. And when you ride down the road and you see these cell towers everywhere and these Doppler radars are these giant weapon systems that they're turning on right now so they can control everything that you do, and they're gonna light that shit up. They're gonna drop you out of here because they don't need you anymore. They have Human 2.0. And the male and female thing, remember the 2 trade towers, which is now 1? The male and female DNA, okay, it's now 1. New human, got long hair, half man, half woman, good looking with a pair of titties and a little wiener and a vagina. And it's, it's androgynous being, which they are, so they're gonna experience this thing. And that's why they copy everything you do. That's why they record everything that you do. Your Pandora app records everything, and they know everything you like and do, and you're all recorded, and they are copying you. They're copying you for version 2.0. You see the danger we're in? We're in some deep shit trouble. We were put into this world to rule him, and somewhere down the line, we got flipped again, and evil's taking control of everything. There's no savior coming, okay? We've been lied to, this whole Yahweh thing and the whole Jesus story. I was just watching on the Morgue Officials channel. He had a thing on the Cathars, and these were the pre-Christians. They were the Christians before the Christians today. They didn't buy any of this shit. This Jesus raising from the dead crap, even our founding fathers, Jefferson and Paine, were like, what in the fuck is this all about? I just heard Thomas Paine, who wrote, what was it, that famous book he had that he's probably done more for America than anyone. And Jefferson was the same way. They threw all that Bible shit out. Thomas Paine sacrificed so much. They said when he died, only 6 people showed up to his funeral. Probably contributed more than anyone. Unbelievable. And you got George Washington, the shitty general, couldn't run the country, got himself in trouble, and went and borrowed money from the Jew, and they, oh my God, that's how they got in here. Anyway, let me go over some notes real quick, and I'm gonna try to wrap this up, but I wanna make sure I've got everything covered. Oh, some important things here, and I know I'm jumping around, but in the movie They Live, they just did, a guy over in BitChute did a rendition of it, and he showed some amazing things. One of the things that we've always talked about in that movie is the fight scene with Nada, which is Roddy Piper, and what was the gentleman's name? Frank, the other character. It was the longest fight scene ever shot in a movie, and the reason why that is, it occurs to me now, is because you literally have to get the living fucking shit beat out of you before you realize how bad this situation is, before you really put the glasses on. And I think, reflecting back now, why I've got such a fucking ass whooping for so fucking long is I had to get just fucking beaten down so you could finally see the whole thing for what it is. But John Carpenter did something in a scene in that movie which he didn't have to do because it doesn't play any part in the movie, but he shot a scene in Los Angeles in one of those old buildings, and up at the ceiling was old Tartarian architecture. Somebody caught that, so pretty cool. Okay, I had a meeting this week with a civil rights attorney and a law professor. God, I want to talk to you about that. Okay, so we've gone on the clones, we've done that. The options. I did a video called Option C. When Zig Ziglar talks about something, when you're selling something, you don't give them the option or yes or no. You give them the option A or the option B. They're going to make a choice. And option A and option B doesn't mean difference to you because you both win because they're 2 products that you make. But you never give them option C, We've always been given option A. Option A either is this Yahweh Jehovah dude, is the creator of all, which we can't understand why, or if it's not him, then we are just in an accident, a big bang. Well, it's obvious that there's a creator, so if it's not, it has to be Yahweh. But they don't give you option C was, wait a minute, he's the phony, he's the imposter, and there's one above him. If you're ever given option C, it's obvious it's fucking option C. And that goes into the Jesus story. Jesus is an imposter. He's not the Christ. The real Christ has been hidden from you. It's been hidden from all of us. It has been hidden in plain sight the whole time. We're going to get there. You're going to be ferociously pissed when you find out this. And the original Christians, the ones we call the Cathars and the Gnostics and all them, Constantine in 327, he went down to Alexandria and they sodomized, raped, and murdered Hypatia, which to me was probably the biggest event in the history of us in that day. They got rid of all the Gnostics and all the Cathars and all those who knew the true creation story and who the real Christ is. They got rid of all of them. And I think that memory is in all of us, and inside of us, we're trying to reconnect with them, where we come from, where we're from, and ultimately is up in the aeons in the pleroma, and we're in this lower realm, and we're in this trapped thing. They make out this Yaldabaoth guy being a complete blind idiot, but he's not. He's learned. He's had plenty of time to learn from all of us because we have fed him and given him all of our knowledge and wisdom, and they've used it back against us. So this is a huge, huge war that we're in. We are higher realm beings trapped in the lower realm in this clone copy of ourselves, and either we right now take back control of this thing, or we're going to find ourselves, and all of us, maybe not all of us, but everybody else is going to get trapped in this human 2.0, which our consciousness will be trapped maybe for eternity. This is for all the fucking marbles right here. This is serious stuff. I'm going to end it here. There's so many other things I wanted to talk about, but I want to let you know that everybody's kind of on the same page with this right now. Even people who wouldn't even consider this last week are like, they know it's going down. What is the solution for this? One is the knowledge of who we are. My personal life, I have renounced and denounced all of it. All the gods, all these patriarchal gods, it's Yahweh, Jehovah, all this stuff. No, I've connected back to the one. I look up and say, Mom and Dad, I connect back to you. I don't trust anyone or anything else, just you. And you connect back and renounce all that shit. I can just tell you, it's the information, the communication that flows is unbelievable. Anyway, it resonates with you, or you wouldn't be watching this, and we're all learning from each other. So anyway, it's just saying that we're in a carbon copy of ourselves. We're in clone. We're clones of ourselves. So anyway, all right, I'm out. Next, I want to put the collage video together, the movie Upside Down World, and a couple other things. I have an iPad. I'm going to try to do it. Hopefully it doesn't look stupid. And then we're going to move into the Mac Daddy of them all, and that is who this imposter is and who the real Christ is. And that would be the most liberating knowledge you'll ever come to have. And anyway, hopefully that's what we'll do next. I love everybody. Oh, Jay Allen, thanks, buddy, for the last comment. You're right, man. The narcissism with the female, sometimes I talk about the male being the only one that inheritance we get bad daddy from, but the women, you get it too. And we're battling our shit, and there's this narcissistic shit. I look at videos on YouTube, and I go to the fucking gym now, and women are just put up their cameras and they're squatting with the tightest fucking yoga pants on I've ever seen, where your freaking labia, you can see the shade bumps on your hoo-hoo, and you're squatting with your legs open, and you're all this shit, and you're videotaping and putting it on YouTube, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, look at me. It's like, no, I don't know. It's fucked up. Anyway, we all got, this is that Archon shit that we're dealing with, bad daddy stuff. Anyway, Ah, crazy. All right, I love everybody. I'm out, and see you next time.